This evening as the Nashville Predators open up their 2023 season on the road against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Puck drop is set for 4:30 p.m. You can listen to the game right here on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. Game Center update delivered by Black Tie Moving. Use the promo code GAME to score 10% off your next move.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 1025 and 1063.
79-52 Vanderbilt.
And I think he's going to coach
Shot by Sherrill.
You're going to see more moves. The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Where you have a voice.
He had a competent coaching staff. You just play terrible and you keep playing.
And we have strong opinions.
What a whiny freaking crybaby response.
This is Stillman and Company with Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk, 1025 and 1063 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. Ian is here today. Hello, Ian.
What up, what up?
So we've got a short show today. Barry Trotz in 1 hour. That will be kicking off our weekly Tuesday interviews with Barry Trotz. Ian, do you think Barry knows what he's getting himself into by doing a weekly on the afternoon program here?
That's a good question. Probably not. Nope, probably not.
So we shall see. But the Preds opener today at 4:30 against the Tampa Bay Lightning, which means we're out of here today at 3:30. And but I am freaking pumped for the start of the season. I'm excited. I'm not really sure what to think in terms of expectations. Ian, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Did I already ask you what's up?
I think you did, but that's
okay.
That's
I guess
okay.
I'm yeah, I'm going to start on this today. Our morning show and our afternoon shows have lost their freaking minds. And this was not what I was going to start off with today at all. Ian, you got a copy of the grid this morning. You know that I was not going to start off on the afternoon show and the morning show, but I think I'm going to have to now.
Got to call an audible sometimes.
I mean, sometimes I'm in the car and I'm listening to our midday show. I'm the afternoon show. I'm listening to the midday show, and as I'm listening to them, I have decided that it is no longer Caroline, Willie, and D. Mace. It is the Derrick Henry Hater Club and Caroline, because the two of them talking about Derrick Henry, you would think that the way that they feel about Derrick Henry, as if he has like some sort of honorary role on this team, that the only reason the Titans won't get rid of him and give the ball to Tajay Spears more often is because, well, you know, Derrick was once a really good player for this organization, and we don't want to hurt the old pawpaw's feelings, but, I mean, it's hard to watch this bad football now, I'll tell you. That is the sentiment that I have heard over the last 2 hours from our midday show, and I do not think it could be further from the truth. Here is a sample of what they've been saying. Let's start, and I just want to say from the jump on this, I'm not anti-Tajay Spears. I think Tajay Spears has a role in the offense, but he's a side on the menu. He's not an entree. Derrick is the menu. When you win, it's because of Derrick. When you have success, it's because of Derrick. Your offense is built around Derrick. You can't do the same things that you do to win with Derrick Henry. You can't do them with Tajay Spears. I watched the tape, and we'll tomorrow get into kind of the whole tape breakdown because, boy, there's a lot to get through of this. But I watched the tape this morning. Indianapolis used two players to spy Derrick Henry on every play. Zaire Franklin, number 44, and Julian Blackmon, a safety, were almost in tandem on top of one another, just following Derrick Henry every time he was in the game. Derrick Henry, and again, the best offense for the Titans is giving the ball to Derrick Henry. The second best offense is faking to Derrick Henry. And I went and tallied it up on my notes before we went on the air. The Titans on play action on Sunday ran 10 play action fakes with Derrick Henry. They were 8 of 9 because one of them was an illegal contact against DeAndre Hopkins, so that doesn't count as a pass, but it was obviously a first down. The Titans were 8 for 9 passing the ball. The one that they didn't complete was a drop by Chigakonkwo. They completed it for 119 yards. When they didn't run play action, the Titans averaged 6.3 yards per attempt. Here are the yardages they got when faking to Derrick Henry through the air. A catch for 9, a catch for 16, a catch for 36, a catch for 11, a catch for 20, a catch for 11, a catch for 25, and a catch for 2. The best offense is giving it to Derrick. The second best offense is faking it to Derrick. By the way, Tajay Spears, his electric touchdown run was a fake to Derrick Henry. They faked it to Derrick going left. They pitched it to Tajay going right. He got a great block from Westbrook Akine and a great block from Chigakonkwo, one of the only great blocks Chigakonkwo has probably ever thrown. And he went into the end zone for a touchdown. Now, again, listening to the midday show, let's see what happens if you do that with Tajay Spears. Let's give him the ball. He's more of a success. They gave it to him on 3rd and 1, and he got 5 yards. Hey, Ian, do you know what happened on that 3rd and 1 in which he picked up the 5 yards?
What's that?
He was lined up at fullback because Derrick Henry was lined up at running back, and Derrick Henry went to the left, and so did the 2 guys who were spying Derrick Henry the entire game and the rest of the Colts defense. I feel like I don't watch the same games as you guys anymore. Now, yesterday in the text line, I was talking about Spears, and I'm like, yeah, he's a nice complimentary player. But this idea of, oh, my God, he's so explosive, we have to get the ball into Tajay Spears' hands, I don't see it like that. And then the text line blew up, and I thought, oh, here come the people that are going to say, Derrick's only averaging 9 yards per carry, and that's not good enough, and that's not. And then all of a sudden, I realized all the text line was like, yeah, dude, like I like Spears, but Derrick Henry is the bell cow. So here's a sample of what the midday show was saying. And by the way, Derrick asked me today, he said, hey, can we just agree to disagree? And I said to that, no. Here's a sample of what they were saying on the midday show. Here's Derrick's take.
The guy has done so much for a period of time in his career. And then all of a sudden you start to see the decline a little bit, and then you have this fresh guy comes in. People don't want to let go to what's been working, even though they see at times there's a decline. And in this is a perfect example of it. But then people have the excuse of, well, the offensive line. Well, the offensive line is the same offensive line Tajay Spears is running behind. Derrick Henry is still a good runner in this league. He will remain a good runner as long as he stays healthy. But Tajay gives them that explosiveness. This game is about speed. No longer from the running back position. It's not so much power. If you got speed and power, which Tajay has, Derrick has lost a little bit of that. He can't get to those holes the way Tajay can.
Okay. So they're telling you, like, hey, the stats are this is the same offensive line. Tajay Spears had 7 carries for 34 yards. So that average was better than Derrick Henry's. And that's fine. That's fine. But again, 19 of those came on a play that was faked to Derrick Henry. So you take that out because, again, if you want to make Spears your bell cow running back, Spears had 6 carries for 15 yards, and 5 of them came on a fake to Derrick. The best offense is faking to Derrick even for the other running back. I mean, this is crazy talk. And then here's what Willie said, and I love Willie to death. I do. Willie, I know you're probably driving home unless you're doing the pregame show with Max today. I know you're probably listening right now. You know I love you. But Willie starts citing analytics that he doesn't even know.
2 things we always talk about with the stats, right? There's the eye test, and then there's the analytics. And how do the 2 meet? Then there's the analytics, which suggests that Derrick Henry doesn't break as many tackles as he once did. There's this new stat that people are developing called expected yards per attempt, right? They look at the play. I don't know how they come up with it, honestly. But it's like, should you get – a good running back will get more than expected. An average running back will get exactly what's expected. and then people will get below. Derrick
How do
Henry
you
is,
even calculate that?
I don't know. Derrick Henry does not grade nearly as well in these categories as he did 3-4 years ago. Tajay Spears grades really well in these things.
I mean, how do they come up with that? I have no idea. But this stat says that Tajay is better than Derrick. So you know what? Fine. Give the ball to Tajay Spears 20 times on Sunday. Leave Derrick Henry on the bench. Because, again, with Derrick, and I love him, but D. Mace, it's like, people just don't want to take Pawpaw's keys away from him. But that's what it's time to put him out to pasture, and it's time to give it to the new guy. Let's see what happens. Let's just take Derrick Henry out. And Tajay Spears, let's give him the ball 28 times on Sunday. There's no way he's going to be Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is still Derrick Henry. Somebody tweeted me earlier today and said, Derrick Henry never lowers his shoulder and knocks over anybody anymore. I'm sorry, what happened to Jermaine Pratt of the Bengals on the 29-yard touchdown run Derrick had last week? You guys are crazy. And I will agree with Derrick. It's the same offensive line. It's the same offensive line that is so bad that the only way Ryan Tannehill has time to throw the ball and throw it effectively is if they run a play-action fake with Derrick Henry and leave 2 tight ends to block. Now, you're only going to get 3 guys out in the pattern, one of whom is Derrick, but that's the only way they can be effective throwing the ball because they can't block. And it's the same offensive line that they have to fake it to Derrick in order to get Tajay Spears 1 carry for 19 and 1 carry for 5. Other than that, Tajay Spears was pretty ordinary running the ball. And this is not an anti-Tajay Spears thing, because Tajay Spears is a great compliment to Derrick Henry. But it is just addressing the ridiculousness of, well, maybe it's time, people don't want to let go of the Derrick fuzzies, but maybe it's time to acknowledge the truth. And I'm telling you, I watched the whole tape, and this offensive line, I don't know how they gain a yard with Brewer and Dillard and Hubbard, because they suck. Now, Skoronski had a horrible game, but Trevon Wesco, and he had one where he just whiffed and Derrick got cut down in the backfield. But Trevon Wesco and Josh Wiley might be better run blockers than Andre Dillard and Aaron Brewer. And that's saying something. This anti-Derrick Henry thing, you guys have got to watch this tape. You guys are crazy. And I love you. I do. But you guys are crazy. So that's how we're starting today. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. We will get to you early and often with an abbreviated show today because it's the Preds opener this season. That's right. 4:30, and, of course, the game's right here on 102.5 The Game, which we're very, very excited about. Barry Trotz will join us in an hour. And we can either go to the phones on this, or I can tell you what the morning show said that is almost equally as baffling to me. So we'll figure that out. 615-737-1025 here on the program. Tune into 93.3 Classic Hits tonight for MTSU football. The Blue Raiders kick off at 6 at home against Louisiana Tech. Pre-game's at 4:30, and coverage is available on the 93.3 Classic app and at 933classichits.com.
Coming on in for Fergie. It's Pete Weber. Tonight, the regular season gets underway as the Predators head to Tampa to take on the Lightning. Join Max Urs, Hal Gill, and me starting at 3:30.
Your home for Smashville is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Being value conscious and getting the most for your money is so important these days, and that's why it's more important than ever to shop at Genesis Diamonds, the undisputed value leader.
Part of the education at Genesis Diamonds is we explain to you how we travel the world and purchase our diamonds, how we buy in bulk, we pay cash for our diamonds so we can save every possible percent to save you money on your diamonds.
Genesis Diamonds Vice President David Cooper.
There are no middlemen. There are no other wholesalers or dealers, so we cut out all of those extra added markups and pass those savings on to you.
When you combine that unmatched value with a totally no-pressure shopping experience, you know you're in the right place.
Because we do not work on commission, our sole purpose is to make sure you get exactly what you want. There's nothing in it for us personally, whether you spend $1,000 or $100,000.
That's why at Genesis, people often end up spending less than they had budgeted.
Our goal is to purely present you with options so you can choose exactly what you want.
The value you want, the experience you deserve. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Come try Calabria Brick Oven Pizzeria. Their pizza is cooked to perfection, but that's not all they're known for. Try one of their delicious appetizers, salads, fresh calzones, and they have a full bar and dessert. Calabria has been a Mount Juliet staple for 7 years now and has a new location in the heart of Goodlettsville off Long Hollow Pike. Come join the family at Calabria. After all, life's too short to eat bad pizza.
It's time to celebrate this fall and unleash the beast. Monster Brewing proudly presents to you Beast Unleashed. 0 caffeine, 0 sugar, all the adult beverage fun. The Beast is unleashed with great taste, bold familiar flavors, and 6% alcohol. Go wild with Mean Green, White Haze, Peach Perfect, and Scary Berries. Don't fear the Beast. Enjoy Beast Unleashed at your next tailgate or football party. Drink responsibly. Must be 21 and over.
It's electric in Smashville. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 429 has a new path to a dignified career. Local 429 is accepting applications for the highest skilled electricians and linemen and is providing the best training in Middle Tennessee. They are the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 429. Call them at 615-889-4429 or go online to ibew429.org. IBEW Local 429, your proud seventh man since the beginning. Go Preds.
Attention all fire protection, commercial plumbing, and HVAC experts. Jarrett Companies are looking for experienced field technicians like you. Tired of working for your large corporate employer? Work for a company where you're more than just a number. Jarrett's Fire Protection, commercial plumbing, and HVAC divisions are owned and operated by Nashville natives who want you to grow with their amazing team.
Hi, I'm Jason Jarrett, owner of Jarrett Companies. I'm looking to hire experienced experts and will offer a sign-on bonus of up to $5,000 for certified professionals. In addition to our great benefits that include a 401k match, PTO, and top pay with annual bonuses, we'll also provide you with top-of-the-line tools, trucks, and equipment that you need to grow your career. Our customer base is large and our business is booming with many opportunities for advancement. Give us a call or go online to JarrettCompaniesInc.com and apply today to become a member of our family and protect our community. That's JARRETT CompaniesInc.com. Jarrett Companies, where we are above and beyond industry standards.
Anyone want to tell me what happened? Did you miss any of today's show?
It's okay. It's fine. Don't worry.
Subscribe to the Stillman and Company podcast on Apple, Spotify, and other podcast platforms, or by going to theGameNashville.com.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
Strong opinions and a strong personality on your drive home. This is Stillman and Company on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Jared in Green Hills, Texan.
Hey, Jared in Green Hills.
Says Spears' only good run on Sunday was a 19-yarder that was ripped off because they faked it to Henry before giving him the ball. But keep going off about Chris Brown 2.0.
Chris Brown had a 1,200-yard season.
Yeah,
the year after Eddie George moved on.
It's a comparison to, what we have, come to know Derrick Henry to be as a running back for the last 4 years. And remember, these same people, Jarrett, wanted him benched a long time ago. He don't know how to run in between the tackles. He don't know how to do this.
You're saying before he blossomed.
And what did I kept saying?
2016-ish.
There you go. That was the midday show today. I want to contest the charges on that one, by the way. With a credit card and somebody out in Abu Dhabi buys a bunch of pants and you're like, wait a minute, I didn't buy those pants. That's not my charge on that credit card. I'm contesting it. I contest the idea that I ever wanted Derrick Henry benched. In fact, and Ian, I think you can back me up on this one, I screamed about Matt LaFleur putting Dion Lewis and David Fluellen above him on the depth chart in 2018.
Somewhat fair.
Somewhat.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, I was going crazy. And, and then Joe and all, this narrative came out that Derrick Henry never run the football before until he talked to Eddie George. And then all of a sudden he became the greatest running back who ever lived. And I'm like, we forget the 155 yards that he had against the Chiefs in the playoffs, 156, that he had against the Chiefs in the playoffs the year before Mike Vrabel and Matt LaFleur ever showed up. But that's a different discussion for a different day. Again, the midday show, and Caroline is completely innocent in this. She pushed back a little bit, so she's out. Forget about her. This is, when I say the midday show, I'm talking about Willie and Derek. They didn't say it, so I don't want to, put words in their mouth. But they think Tajay Spears is better than Derrick Henry. That's all, and I think that's crazy talk.
More explosive, maybe. Just, a little bit more dynamic.
They want him to play more. And they want Henry to play less. And I think that is literally crazy talk. Just like putting Derrick Henry on the depth chart below David Fluellen is crazy talk. So I promised your phones early and often, so we're to them. 615-737-1025 is our phone number if you want to weigh in. Chris is going to start us off. Our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, guys. Enjoy the show.
Thank you.
I totally agree with you as far as where the issue is. It's with the offensive line. And I've got a little solution. So if you look at where he's getting tackled, it's either at the line or behind the line. Once he gets ahead of steam, you can't really stop him. So if you remember, Adrian Peterson had the weirdest place where he sat. He sat about 5 yards back from where every other running back sits to start. And well after his prime, he almost ran for 2,000 yards in a season. My solution is you stick Derrick Henry back 3 more yards, 5 more yards, let him get ahead of steam. Then when he hits the line, those guys aren't going to be able to tackle him as well. The other thing is if you fake to him, you've got a tight end size receiver running out there, and Derrick's got great hands, so you can throw the ball to him as well.
So I agreed with the first part where you said that I was right, and I disagree with everything else after that. Thank you for your call. I literally disagree with it. Hey, let's start Derrick 5 yards further back, and you know what's going to happen if you do that? When Derrick takes what should be a 2-yard loss and makes it a 3-yard gain, now that's going to be a 4-yard loss, and I don't want that. What's really got to happen, I think there's a couple things. First off, they got to put Nicholas Petit-Ferrer in at left tackle. And I didn't think Dillard was that bad just watching the game on TV. Then I watched the tape. Dillard's terrible, especially in the run. Dillard is terrible. Now, he can have a couple of blocks where he comes off and, he did it against the Chargers and he did it against the Bengals, where he can fire off and push somebody back a little bit. He's got the talent, but he just doesn't have the heart. And I don't think Petit-Ferrer is very good, but he's got to be better than Dillard. I watched Dillard get knocked over by Zaire Franklin. Dillard's running out to block him, and Zaire Franklin just knocks him on his ass. And I looked it up this morning. What the weight difference is? 70 pounds between Zaire Franklin and Andre Dillard. The difference is Zaire Franklin has the heart of a freaking lion. That guy is a 7th-round pick who cannot be stopped. Dillard's a 1st-round pick who, he's like a Disney character. He's just, it's so soft. It's ridiculous. So, that's the first thing. The second thing is, and Joe got all mad about this morning, and I talked about it yesterday, Josh Wiley's the best blocking tight end they have. Now, they'll argue that Wesco's better, and Wesco had some nice blocks, but Wesco also had some bad blocks. Josh Wiley right now is the best tight end this team has. He catches the ball more than Chig, and he blocks much better than Chig. And because he's not one of those players that you pigeonhole as a run player like Wesco or a pass player like Spears or Okonkwo, when he's in the game, you're not telegraphing to the defense what you're going to do. So he needs to play more too. Now, those are minor changes. The other problems about why you can't run the football, those are March problems. And we're in October. Let's go to Michael, who's up next here on Derrick Henry. Thank you for calling the program. Thank you for waiting. What's up, Michael?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Yeah, the way that they talk about Derrick Henry, it's like they don't even watch the game, and then they just look at the stat sheet at the end of the game. It's like, oh, wow, 3.9 yards to carry versus Tajay's 5.6. Well, clearly we should just give Tajay Spears the ball more. But, I mean, it just doesn't make – it's like this man ran for 1,500 yards last year, and he sat out a game to preserve himself because it didn't matter against the Cowboys. Like, that didn't just magically go away over the offseason. He's still the same guy, and there's been absolutely nothing over the last 4 years to say otherwise. Like, yeah, he had the freak toe injury a couple years ago, but the season after that 1,500-yard campaign, I just don't understand. Like, he's still the guy, and we need to ride him out as long as we can.
Here's the other thing that I don't necessarily understand. Good call, Michael. Here's the other thing I don't necessarily understand about the Tajay Spears thing. And I am not a Tajay Spears hater, but I keep hearing how just explosive Tajay Spears is. Based on what? Like, I watched, when CBS went to New York for a game break, and they showed Devon A-Chain go run for a 70-something yard touchdown in the Dolphins game. I mean, I watched a guy who was out there just smoking it down the field. And we all remember what Chris Johnson was like. I mean, I keep hearing Tajay Spears is this unbelievable dynamic player. Tajay Spears on Sunday receiving caught 4 passes for 35 yards. Like, when's the last time has Tajay Spears ever taken a pass in the NFL? I listen to everybody talk about Tajay Spears like he's Marshall Faulk. Has Tajay Spears ever taken a pass in the NFL and just run up the field with it? Explosive play style. I haven't seen it. And I know that, he's only been in the league for 5 games, but A.J. Brown had a 75-yard catch in his first game. Like, that's what I'm talking. Like, if you're an explosive player, I mean, we see it. That 19-yard touchdown run, that was a gimmick play. That's like saying, hey, Derrick Henry might be a great quarterback because he was 1 of 1 for a touchdown last week. And then if you saw the throw that he missed to Hopkins, I think it's pretty obvious to all of us Derrick Henry is not a great quarterback. And so if you want to say, well, Spears is more dynamic and Spears is more explosive, and can you give me some evidence of that? Because there's nothing like that screen pass that Derrick Henry had against the Saints. Tajay Spears hasn't done any of that. Derrick broke off a big run against the Saints. He broke off a big run against the Chargers. He broke off a big run against the Bengals. And these aren't gimmick runs when Derrick Henry's getting the ball. This is not a, hey, we're faking it to throw the ball to Chris Moore defense because the defense doesn't respect Chris Moore like that. The Indianapolis Colts went into the game on Sunday. They didn't care about DeAndre Hopkins' 140 yards. Did not care. The only thing they said is, we're not letting that bulldozer beat us. And that's why you were so effective on play action, and that's why they had 2 guys spying him. Just like how your offensive line's so bad that when you run a play action pass, you got to leave 2 tight ends in to protect. You'd have 2 extra linemen there. They're taking 2 defensive players, one of whom is Zaire Franklin, their best defensive player, and they are saying, hey, you are responsible for Derrick, and you are responsible for Derrick. There is not a single player on the Titans that will ever get that level of respect, ever. And I just, the context is different. I mean, I'm sure Michael Jordan, and I haven't looked up every game the Chicago Bulls played over the years, but I'm sure Michael Jordan didn't score the most points in every game. But don't you think sometimes that, Scotty Burrell has less people on him than Michael Jordan does. Michael Jordan always has the team's best defender on him at all times. In fact, the Bulls won a championship because they decided, hey, you know what? This can't just be the Michael show every game. We need to run the triangle offense. And in the NBA Finals, they won against the Lakers because Michael started passing the ball to John Paxson. But do you think John Paxson and Steve Kerr win NBA Finals games, hit game-clinching shots, series-clinching shots in the NBA Finals, if it's not because the defense is so worried about Michael Jordan? That's what's happening here. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'll get back into your phones on this, 615-737-1025. Plus, I did say I was going crazy about both the morning show and the midday show, and I've only got to the midday show so far. Now I got to get to the morning show. Because Joe Rexrode has a take that just like the anti-Derrick Henry sentiment, I mean, I am starting to wonder if we are watching the same games. We'll touch on that next. And I'll just say this. Ian, you know what the take is. This is going to drive the fans crazy.
Probably.
We'll get to that next. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. This week's Nashville's best deal is a half-off $50 gift card for Big Play Hendersonville. They offer everything from bowling to laser tag, indoor go-karts, bumper cars, an arcade, fantastic food, and more. Right now, you can get half off a $50 gift card at theGameNashville.com/deals and check out all they offer.
All the big plays.
Rebound, try out in front, and Saros covers it up.
All the big stories.
Andrew Burnett reportedly hired as the next head coach of the Predators.
All in one place. We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3.
Checkered flag is in the air.
Comparing goalies to running backs.
46-27 Vanderbilt.
Does this group of players need more?
The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Put Lee Company on your team and stay ahead of the game with home maintenance, improvements, and repairs. For only $12 per month, you'll receive 4 visits to your home each year by an experienced technician and discounts on service calls, parts, and labor. You'll also receive priority service with no emergency service rates. Let Lee Company keep your air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, and heating systems in tip-top shape. Visit LeeCompany.com today and schedule your first appointment online. Lee Company, all you need.
Hal Gill here for my good friends at Dunkin'. I get my Dunks every morning. I grew up with Dunkin' in Boston, and it's been my favorite ever since. Fall in love with Dunkin's pumpkin coffee, lattes, muffins, and donuts. Made with their signature high-quality coffee, each sip and bite is sure to delight. Perfect for those cool autumn mornings or as a sweet treat any time of day. You won't be able to resist the delicious pumpkin flavor. Get pumped for pumpkin. Stop by Dunkin' today.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller. If you have some things around your home that you've been putting off fixing, like your regular HVAC maintenance or a clogged bathroom drain, Hiller has some big discounts this month. When the temperature drops and you start using your heater for the first time, you do not want to be dealing with breakdown issues, and this month, Hiller is offering half off HVAC tune-up. And Hiller is bringing back their $99 drain cleaning special. These deals only last this month, so be sure to call today. That's Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, proud supporters of the Preds of Falls and Vandy. Hiller, call the Happy Face Truck today.
Are you looking to buy a new home? Need cash now instead of having to wait for your current house to sell? Don't get ripped off by one of those I buy your house people. Call Loan Pronto. Hey, Willie Donick here. Loan Pronto's Dream Home Bridge Loan can help tap your equity so you can get the cash you need. Make a clean offer on that new home or that investment property with cash to cover the down payment. With this amazing program, you can get the cash in a matter of days. Very little paperwork, and usually no appraisal is needed. So you can go after the house you want with no contingency. Then when your current house sells, the bridge loan completely disappears. Don't put off your dream. Let Loan Pronto help you leverage your equity so you can get the cash to make a solid, clean offer. Call now, 615-499-5780. Ask about the Dream Home Bridge Loan. LoanPronto.com. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780. Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Whether it's college football,
Players might end up not going to Alabama or Georgia.
or the NFL,
I think that this team wins the AFC South.
Trevor knows. Join ESPN's Trevor Maddich every Tuesday at 4:30 on Stillman and Company as he gives his opinions on the latest from the gridiron.
I'm going to the team where I can get a ring.
Trevor Maddich brought to you by Houston Clinic Orthopedics, where experience matters, on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is Mookie Betts. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Minshew puts a man under it, and that falls incomplete. There's the flag. Michael Pittman working against Christian Fulton. What a backbreaker this would be for Tennessee's defense.
Spot of the foul, automatic, first down.
Yeah, let's take a look at Fulton and see if he pinned Michael Pittman's right arm against his body as they're running down the field. I thought initially that Fulton was in really good shape. He's able to get up. Yeah, there it is.
There's a hook of the left shoulder.
Yep. And that's just one of those situations where he probably didn't impede him, but just don't put your arm around the shoulder pad, right? Just have the discipline to keep your hand out of it, and you're going to be able to make a play on the football.
And a much tougher down and distance here. Shane Steichen looks down at that play sheet. Gardner Minshew, 10 of 13 for $145. There's Trey Sermon, their number 3 back. Lines up alongside Minshew. Minshew protected, slinging it. Incomplete. There's the flag. Alec Pierce against Christian Fulton.
Pass interference, defense, number 26. Ball's placed in the spot of the foul, automatic.
You see Pierce number 14, and oh yeah, I mean, but that is just a backbreaker. That is a backbreaker if you are the Tennessee Titans.
There you go, Fulton's 2 PIs the other day. That doesn't include the throw to Josh Downs that was also a long conversion in which Fulton gave up, I believe it was a 3rd and long, and he ended up giving up 35 yards. Now, the one to Pittman, Ian, I owe you an apology because that was an uncatchable pass. Now, they absolutely could have called illegal contact, and they probably should have called illegal contact, but it was not a catchable pass. Now, the reason they threw that flag is because on a play where Anthony Richardson, I believe, ended up checking it down and they called a hold on the Colts, Fulton tackled Michael Pittman about 15 yards down the field, and Shane Steichen went nuts. And from then on, the refs were on to Fulton. So Fulton was terrible in the Saints game. Fulton was terrible in the Browns game. Fulton was terrible in the Colts game. I don't think we need to go over all of the atrocities that have been committed by Christian Fulton on the football field. So I think we are kind of all in alignment. I was shocked that Vrabel said he was considering benching him after the game on Sunday because Vrabel almost never says anything like that publicly. But at least I felt like, okay, if Vrabel's going to say that, then that means that he will be benched on Sunday, and the Titans will have somebody else out there who might not be as talented as Fulton, but certainly is not going to give up the copious amounts of yards that come with the penalties and missed assignments and poor play by Christian Fulton. But not Joe Rexrode. Joe Rexrode thinks Christian Fulton should keep his job. In The Athletic, quote, talking about Fulton, he has to be back next week in the starting lineup because he's the most capable cornerback on the team. and there's no adequate replacement for what he brings when he's right, period. Joe continued this morning on Robbie and Rexrow talking about how they don't need to sit Fulton down. They need to get the best out of Fulton.
Look, if he's going to come out and hurt the team more and more and more, then yeah, I mean, at some point you have to at least do it for a little bit. I'm just think long term for this team, like I just said, margin for error is thin and it's not good enough at too many positions. And so if you take that guy out of the equation, because we know what he is when he's good, you just make it tougher on yourself. I mean, you need him to figure it out.
He's not going to, Joe. Like, if he was going to figure it out, he would have figured it out after the first game. And then they won the second game against arguably the best quarterback they've played because Joe Burrow wasn't right in that Cincinnati game in Justin Herbert. And, yeah, Trey Avery's not good, but he's not giving up, 48-yard pass interference penalties on 3rd and 19. I mean, goodness gracious. Has Joe not seen enough? I've seen enough. Like, how many more games does Fulton get to blow before you decide, you know what? He never really was all that good anyways. Like, yeah, he's an okay starting corner in the NFL, but, I mean, was he ever a good starting corner? No. How many more games does he get before you just say, okay, I cannot have you just literally single-handedly bring my entire team down, go to the bench? 2 more games? 3 more games? 5 more games? How many more games? And Joe was texting me today, and he was like, so you're going to throw 3 good years out? I'm like, hold on, 3 good years? Fulton didn't play in 2020, and Fulton was hurt last year and was not very good. In 2021, I think Fulton was okay, but I do remember Fulton getting burned in the Cincinnati game. Most of that was Tannehill's fault as far as them losing. Christian Fulton and where he sits in the lineup. And Joe says, because I'm like, he was terrible in the Saints game. He didn't play in the second game. He was terrible in the third game. And he was terrible in the fifth game. And Joe's like, that Cincinnati game does not count? And I said, no, the Cincinnati game does not count. Because Joe Burrow was 30%. And not only was Joe 30% of himself, but Jamar Chase after the game was yelling and screaming about how open he was the whole time. And I'm not going to doubt him because he probably was. Fulton's terrible. And he's a black hole to the defense that just every time he screws up a 2nd and 26 like he did against the Browns, it just sucks everything down into the black hole. And so, to me, I would have benched him after the Browns game. But I don't know how you don't bench him now. Like, I couldn't believe that one. Like that, I mean, when Joe's sitting there talking about playing Christian Fulton and him needing to be in the lineup, oh my goodness. So now I do feel like I have gotten my disagreements with the morning show and the midday show out. We're to your phones next. Plus, I do have to say, after watching the tape, and tomorrow we'll go in the film room and all that stuff, but I do have to say there is one thing that maybe I was a little too over the top on, and we'll touch on that as well. Barry Trotz at the top of the hour, ahead of the Predators starting this season. Speaking of the Predators, Hiller, they are proud supporters of the Predators. And that's why you need to get with my friends at Hiller, because they've been taking great care of my home for years. They can do the same for you. If you have some things around your home that you've been putting off fixing, like your regular HVAC maintenance or a clogged bathroom drain, Hiller has some big discounts this month. When the temperature drops, as it is dropping now, and you start using your heater for the first time, you do not want to be dealing with breakdowns and issues. This month, Hiller is offering half off HVAC tune-ups, and Hiller is bringing back their $99 drain cleaning special. For just $99, Hiller will get you up and running. And these deals only last this month, so be sure to call now. Hiller's work is backed by the Happy You'll Be Your Services guarantee, or the services free guarantee, and I know that because I use Hiller at my home. That's Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, proud supporters of the Preds of Vols and Vandy. Hiller, call the Happy Face Truck today.
Vanderbilt football lives here.
This Saturday, it's Vanderbilt and Georgia from First Bank Stadium. Kickoff at 11 a.m. Coverage starts at 9:30.
Your home for the Commodores is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It's the final week of the Electronic Express 40th anniversary sale. Visit any of our convenient locations and save up to 40% throughout the entire store. This week, get a TCL 55-inch 4K TV for only $269, or a stainless steel refrigerator only $499. Plus, get up to 60 months special financing on items like a top-load laundry pair, only $349 each, or an HP touchscreen laptop just $699. Sale ends Saturday. Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Out on the trail this morning, the cool fall air whispered to this old cowboy that fall is here and it's time for football tailgates, bonfires, and hockey nights in Nashville. And when it comes to my adult beverages, you can bet your snakeskin boots that I'm going to be loading my wagon at Red Spirits and Wine. At Red, I can always find what wets my whistle, whether I'm in the mood for a great single-barrel whiskey, a fine bottle of vino, a smooth smoking cigar, or a growler of my favorite craft brew. Red's got you covered when it comes to selection and price, but it's Red's Cracker Jack crew that always gives me the best service and recommendations. Heck, I can tell you all the great things about Red until I'm blue in the face, but I reckon you just need to see the best darn water and depot for yourself. That's Red Spirits and Wine, Highway 70 South and Old Hickory Boulevard, or online at Instagram, Facebook, and redspirits.com.
Actor Portrayal, based on a real patient experience.
I'm Mike. I'm a husband, proud father of two, work my butt off 6 days a week, some nights too. When my family or my company needs me to make it happen, I make it happen. But a few months ago, I started having trouble making it happen, in the bedroom. I tried some pills online, but they didn't work. Honestly, I thought about throwing in the towel on my sex life, but I'm not that old. I still want to enjoy intimacy with my wife. Like that poet said, I don't want to just go gently into that good night. So I went to the Tennessee Men's Clinic in Franklin, got some lab work done, was prescribed some meds, and wow, it made it happen. I can't say enough about them. Their providers took care of me, followed up, and made sure I had a treatment plan that actually works. It's awesome. If I were you, and you're like me, I'd give them a call today, 615-208-9090, or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. If you're like most guys, they'll make it happen for you too.
Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
Insightful discussion.
When we talk about the person that these players are.
3 goals scored in the first 5 minutes.
He wants to be the starter, day one.
Mixed with spirited debate.
Okay, but
Derek, let's Professor Derek. They are Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace. With Caroline Fenton, Willie Donick, and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason.
We got the whole thing covered. We got it all covered.
Here.
Weekdays at 11 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Stillman and Company on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
The consistency. You got to be consistent in this league to be able to perform at a high level, and I don't think we're doing it right now as a team. And like you said, leaders just got to step up. Guys got to be locked in. Got to be more focused. Whatever we can do as a team and individually, collectively, to be better going into this week and so on. We got to try to do that.
There you go. That was Derrick Henry after the game, and you notice how Derrick said the team needs to be more consistent. George has been waiting patiently. He's up next on Derrick Henry. Thank you for waiting. What's up, George?
Thanks a lot for taking my call, Jared. I just wanted to mention something that I haven't heard a lot of, and everyone really needs to think about this. If you run into Derrick Henry in the first and second quarter multiple times, by the third and fourth quarter, you're not going to want to run into him as much. And Tajay Spears, I mean, he's a good runner, but he doesn't hurt people when they hit him. And Derrick Henry hurts people. And I am certain that makes a difference in the third and fourth quarter. That's all I got, Jared.
I'll tell you what makes a difference is the fact that the more he touches it, the better the Titans play. Thank you for your call. There is no way. I heard today Caroline bring up, and good on her, but I heard Caroline bring up when the Titans have won games, Derrick's touched it 22 and 25 times. And D-Mace was like, yeah, but they were hitting plays down the field. I'm like, you think that, Chris Moore is Tyreek Hill, and that's why they're hitting the plays down the field, and that's what opens it up for Derrick Henry? Or is it the fact that they're running play action with Derrick Henry and then throwing the ball down the field? And I believe it's the latter. One texter says, by the Spears-Henry logic, the Patriots should have gone with Jimmy Garoppolo over Tom Brady because he had a good couple of games of filling in. Hey, that's what Belichick thought. You know, like, that's the crazy thing about some of these football decisions that just seem so cockamamie. And it's like, how in the world could you ever watch Tom Brady on one hand? And I'm talking about like the 2016 Tom Brady, even though I thought Tom Brady last year was still pretty good. But you've got Tom Brady, and you've got Jimmy G. And we saw Jimmy G in San Francisco, and we've seen Jimmy G with the Raiders, and Jimmy G's not very good. So you've got Jimmy G, and you watch him every day in practice, every day at OTAs, every preseason game. Like, you know Jimmy, and you know Brady. And how could you want to go with Jimmy over Brady? And yet, Bill Belichick, who's going to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, although his grasp on greatest coach of all time seems to be waning by the football game, he wanted to go Jimmy over Brady. Now, speaking of old football guys, and this is another Derrick Henry point that I think is valid because I've seen it enough, Nick Saban once said, and I think it was on either the morning show or maybe it was our show, I can't remember, but it was on 102.5. Nick Saban said, I don't know what it is, but the more Derrick Henry touches the ball, the better he plays. And obviously, I think that's Nick Saban speaking from experience. That Nick Saban says the more you give it to him, the better he plays. And we've seen it so many times. And the more you give it to him, the more likely you are to win. Why would you want to give it to him less? That I have a hard time with. Texter says Devon A-Chain has 130 more rushing yards than Derrick Henry on 50 less carries. If Tajay Spears had those same numbers, Jared, you would still try to make the argument that Henry is still the better back. The numbers do not lie. Well, first of all, let's let Devon A-Chain play for the Titans and run for those same rushing yards without Tyreek Hill and without Jalen Waddle, and let's see if he's able to do that. And if he is, and Devon A-Chain is breaking touchdown after touchdown after touchdown like he was with the Dolphins until he got hurt, then it may be a different story. The problem is Tajay Spears isn't doing that. Like, you're going to sit here and tell me what I would say. If this happens, Jared, this is what you would say. Which is incredibly fascinating to me because I don't know what I would say if that happened. But right now, it's not happening. So how can I respond to what you think I would say? I think Derrick Henry is the best player on the team. And I think Derrick Henry has been the best player on the team. And I think Derrick Henry continues to be the best player on the team. And I think if they had given the ball to Derrick Henry more against the Saints, I think they would have won the game. Because Derrick was ripping off those runs. And if they could get somebody to block for Derrick Henry, I think Derrick Henry would be doing a lot of Derrick Henry-like things. In fact, we pulled up the stats last week. Derrick Henry's stats are incredibly similar to what they were at the beginning of the 2019 and 2020 seasons where he won the rushing title. But if you're going to sit here and act like losing A.J. Brown doesn't have an effect on your running game, you're crazy. Just like having Derrick Henry has a huge effect on your passing game. Like Chris Sanders, 245 should be exciting tomorrow. Because Chris Sanders texted me, and he said, in reference to Derrick, he said that Tajay Spears has had many explosive plays. Now, I'm trying to think of what these explosive plays are. The one where he fumbled, picked it up, and ran to the other side. To me, that was a luck play. But he said he's had many explosive plays. Give him 30 carries and see what he does. Fine. Let's take Derrick Henry out, and let's put Tajay Spears in. First of all, that would be a great conversation with Vrabel and Tim Kelly, with Henry and Spears. to make the whole, hey, we're going to go to the rookie here kind of thing, and give him 30 carries and give Derek 4 and see what happens. Now, I don't know if over the years, if Tannehill's walked into Vrabel's office and said, no. But I bet you if on a Tuesday, Ryan Tannehill got the game plan, like today, Tannehill gets the game plan for the Ravens. They say, hey, learn the scheme for tomorrow. Tannehill's looking through it and sees all these runs for Tajay Spears. I bet you he's walking into Tim Kelly and Vrabel's office and saying, no, we're not doing this. Because the only way he has success right now is in play action. Now, this will be a much bigger topic probably on tomorrow's program because, again, Barry Trotz is joining us at the top of the hour, and then we got the Preds pregame show. But I did watch a tape, and I pushed back against everybody that was, down on Tannehill after the game on Sunday. I said Tannehill had an excellent game. After having watched the tape, I can't say that. He had a good game. He did not have an excellent game. The pass in the corner of the end zone that almost got intercepted, intended for Westbrook Akine, should have been a touchdown. And he just didn't put enough on that ball, and he should have. And then there was one on the 4th and 1 drive where Tannehill ended up scrambling up the middle and picking up about 11 and sliding down. And I thought watching it on TV that was a great play by Tannehill. The play was designed to throw the ball down the field to Chris Moore, and Chris Moore was open. And Tannehill was looking right at him, and he just didn't throw it. Now, it wouldn't have been a super high completion percentage type throw, but the play was designed to take the shot to Chris Moore, and the shot for Chris Moore was open, and Tannehill saw it, and he didn't throw it. So I can't say he had an excellent game. 615-737-1025. I don't know why I gave out the phone number because that's going to do it probably for calls today. Barry Trotz will join us in Tampa ahead of the Preds season opener. Barry will be joining us weekly throughout the course of the season. Let's talk about White Bison first, though. White Bison is your local coffee shop with food featuring fresh-made premium breakfast, lunch, and snack options. Pumpkin season is back, so celebrate the season by grabbing a pumpkin spice frappe and pumpkin sweet foam cold brew or a classic pumpkin spice latte. When you're looking to complement your day with an iced or blended coffee near you, White Bison is the place to go. White Bison Coffee. Hot drinks, iced, blended, you name it. Teas, smoothies, frappes, and more. Finely crafted for you every day. And if you need a little something different, switch it up. They've got a thoughtfully considered selection of refreshing tea or smoothies, which are perfect for any weather. Order ahead and get your rewards. So download that app to order ahead and earn rewards where you get one free coffee every time you buy 7. Part of White Bison's rewards. Buy 7, get 1 free. White Bison, part of Twice Daily fresh all day.
Are you always on the go? We've got you covered. Download the Game Nashville app from your app store and listen to us wherever you are.
Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexroad. It's Chase McCabe.
Caroline, Willie, D-Mays.
Stillman Company.
We are Nashville's best sports talk.
Good station. I listen to it all the time.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
20 years ago, when Genesis Diamonds came to Nashville, this was one of the most expensive cities in America for diamond jewelry. Our radical approach and no middleman pricing changed that forever. And now we're doing it again, this time with lab-grown diamonds. We were shocked to find out what the other mall stores and the other big radio advertisers were charging. For example, they sell their platinum 4-carat VS2 lab-grown earrings for $13,480. Ours are 40% less, with better diamonds. Their 5-carat lab-grown diamond earrings are $17,950. Ours are half that price, with better quality, 50% less at Genesis. Looks like they might be going back to the old ways. If they're charging this much on lab-grown diamonds, kind of makes you wonder what else they're selling at the same outrageous markup. Nashville, we are not going backwards. At Genesis Diamonds, our non-commissioned trusted advisors are here to give you all the information with details you can trust and prices you can count on. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Get
Get ready for #Blue Nighted Weekdays. With MTSU football, we're thrilled to announce that MTSU will be hosting not one, but 2 incredible games on Wednesday, October 4th against Jacksonville State, and Tuesday, October 10th against Louisiana Tech. And that's not all. Fans can snag 2 games for the price of 1. So gather your family and friends and secure your seats today inside Floyd Stadium. For more information, visit GoBlueRaiders.com. Let's go Blue!
The Game text line is driven by Wilson County Hyundai. Online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Be a part of the conversation. Call or text the Game at 615-737-1025.
I have diabetes. I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I have asthma. I'm at risk too.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a vaccine that can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just 1 dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Ross Chastain will be first to finish in the Ally 500 at Nashville Super Speedway.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR. 102.5 and 106.3.
Checkered flag is in the air. Man, this is a win in the cup race.
The Game.
A Cromwell media station.
Where you have a voice.
He had a competent coaching staff.
You just play terrible and you keep playing.
And we have strong opinions.
What a whiny freaking crybaby response.
This is Stillman and Company with Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. Preds pregame for the season opener in less than 30 minutes. That's right. And then, of course, at 4:30, the puck drops on ESPN against the Tampa Bay Lightning. And joining us now on the program, and will be joining us every week during the hockey season on Tuesdays, is Predators General Manager Barry Trotz, presented by Gary Force Acura. So let me start with this, Barry. First of all, it's your first game as general manager officially. What's the butterfly factor today?
I would probably say it's probably about an 8. I think, obviously you're a little bit removed from the bench. So that probably gives it another 2 degrees. So I'm going to say an 8. Looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the journey with this group of players and coaches, and obviously yourself and the fans. So can't wait to get it started.
Barry, I don't really know what to expect this season from the Predators, and I've actually been thinking about it the last couple of days. I mean, I certainly don't look at this team and think, cup contender, but stranger things, I guess, have happened. But this team was right on the cusp of the playoffs last season. You went out and got a guy that's got a pretty good track record as a head coach. You've made some adjustments here. I mean, as a general manager, how do you have expectations going into the season, and what are they?
Well, I think I'm a little bit like you. I've gone into every season, even as a coach, not even as a general manager, and I wasn't quite sure because it's always a process. You move a couple people, you adjust to the team. I know, obviously, you have a new general manager, new coaches, new system, new players, just a little bit of a new attitude. You don't know when it's going to take. So I always looked at the first, probably 15 games in the year it's always process over outcome. No matter when I was in Nashville or when I was in Washington or New York. And it is the same process every year because you just don't know what's going to click. You don't know who's going to get injured. You don't know how quickly, they're going to adjust the style of play. Like I can say, using football terms that we all know, I think I'm trying to take the Nashville Predators from a running team to try to take them from a running team to a.
Oh, we lost Barry. I'm going to guess he said that he was trying to take him from a running team to a passing team. Is the expectation that he was going to have there? But I was a little fascinated about where that was headed. And so I do think, and Barry's back on the line here, but I do think that he's talking about taking it from a running team to a passing team. Barry, go ahead. You were talking about changing them, in football terms from a running team to a passing team.
Yeah, no, I really am. I think visually you're going to see the Preds get up the ice a lot quicker, move the puck quicker. It's a little bit upside down hockey for a guy like Roman Josi, who usually would grab the puck and try to go end to end, and then include the forwards. I think with Andrew Burnett, he wants Jost to get it. When he gets the puck, and move it up to the forwards to keep their speed. They're going to stretch the zone a little bit. And then Roman can join the play and be a part of the attack and stay in the attack in the offensive zone. So, with just like in football, there's probably a little bit more risk in that passing game. But at the same time, there's reward if you can execute it. So this first part of the year is how fast can our players that are used to playing a little bit slower, playing more of a grind game, getting into a little more of a speed game. And as we transition in the next couple of years to the type of players that we're looking for and drafting, that speed element will come out more and more. But there'll be a transitional phase here, obviously. But we've got a great group of guys. I think what we have done in terms of the locker room, the leadership, the work ethic, all that is there. Now we got to get some results. That's the bottom line. We're a professional hockey team. So the results have to come, but there's going to be a process, and it's not going to be an easy process. But as I've always used the term, the hard way is the easy way, because you find out a lot about stuff when you have to grind through it a little bit and figure it out on the run.
It's funny. When you took the job, Barry, you did an interview that day, and you were talking about how Ryan McDonough was a serial winner. And as I heard you talk about that, I was driving in my car. I'm like, well, he's definitely not going to get rid of Ryan McDonough. That guy's going to be here for the long haul. Yesterday, Roman Josi continues, as captain. Ryan McDonough and Ryan O'Reilly, two guys with cups that are given the A's. You just brought up the locker room aspect of this. What do you make of the dynamics between the established veteran players, specifically those serial winners, the O'Reillys and the McDonoughs, and the young guys that you're bringing up that are on this team now? Not the younger guys that are down in Milwaukee or still kind of in the system, but the younger guys right now that you're going to need an impact from. And how much are you looking forward to that dynamic developing?
I'm really, to me, it's probably the most critical dynamic we have. We need, the Ryan McDonoughs and the Ryan O'Reillys and those guys to really have an impact on Cody Glass, Tommy Novak, Kiefer Sherwood, and then obviously to the younger guys like Evangelista and Tomasino. If they're able to do what I've seen them do on other teams, then that will really help our development and get us to continue to go up the charts and hopefully become serial winners as a group.
How excited are you about the compete level of the team this year? And I don't mean like standings-wise and where the team could end up. But, I mean, look, Tampa's a good team tonight. Seattle's a good team Thursday in the home opener. And yet with this goalie and the amount of veterans that are on this team, I expect this team to compete on a nightly basis. How excited are you about what you think the compete level of the individual games will be?
I think that's to me, it's vital. I'm really excited about that. I don't know what the outcomes of the games are going to be. I think we're still going to need some scoring. We're going to have to do it by committee. We're going to need some growth from that. But there's no question that there's a lot of fight in the dog here, because I look at these guys. They're serial winners. Always compete. They find a way. Even when it's not going their way, they find ways, and they push each other. And I would say the temple of practice. You can talk to the players. The temple of practice and all that has been fantastic. Compete practice has been fantastic. And more than anything, there is no no whining or complaining about anything. They're forging ahead as a group, and to me, you can go a long way when you have really good commitment level from the group, and they have the commitment level, and hopefully with that commitment level, they get results, going forward. So we're sort of got a little bit of a murderer's row coming up right at the start of the season, but you find out where you are right away. So I'm looking forward to it.
Barry Trotz is with us, presented by Gary Force Acura. What is the challenge to the guys as a new era comes in, new coach, new GM, a handful of new players? What's the challenge to kind of the established veterans around here that you decided to hang on to, that you're committed to, guys like Yossi and Forsberg and that group? Kind of what's the challenge internally there?
Well, I think it's not really a challenge. I think, by trying to get people who can supplement them, in the case of Roman, obviously, it's a big job being a captain of a National Hockey League team. Taking care of everybody. There's a lot of things that get asked and a lot of pressures that get put on him as the captain. And having guys like O'Reilly and McDonough who he can go as just as advisors and maybe share the load, and they'll do that because they've had to do that for their individual clubs when they weren't with the Preds. I think that's going to be really, really helpful for them. And then also, the fact that we're trying to forge a new identity, and having those guys do it together, I think it will be invaluable for us. So it's the support of, and probably more than anything, it freshens up Yossi, it freshens up Forsberg, it freshens up a guy like Sissons, who is a leader for us. Those guys, and I think it just gives them a freshness. We've had pretty well the same group. Last number of years, we changed the group, put in different types of personalities and people. We're infusing some young players into the lineup, which give you a little energy. They sort of bring a natural energy with youth. And, obviously our goaltending has been stable over the course of the time, the last number of years. So hopefully it's a freshness, hopefully it's a support system, and hopefully it's a really committed group here, which I really believe it is.
Barry, behind the scenes, what is the professionalism level of these guys and the camaraderie level now that, you've got your roster for opening night? You guys went out yesterday. You had the meetings this morning. What is that kind of team cohesion been like so far? I know it's early, but kind of what have you seen from afar?
Well, I can only go by what I see. It seems that they're very tight and very together and committed to that way. I've asked probably the best thing to ask is the trainers who are always around for the last number of years. And I said, what's our energy? How's the room? They always ask that, how's the room? And they go, it has been fantastic. He says, I don't know if we've had a room like this in quite some time in terms of the group really, having some cohesion and all that. But, that's in the room. We need the cohesion on the ice. So, but it has to start in the room. So, let's see if we can bring it onto the ice.
Barry, first of all, congratulations on the fact that, this is your first game as the general manager. You've coached, how many millions of games in the past, but now this is the first as general manager. And congratulations. And I don't know what they did to you. I don't know if they put this in your contract when you weren't reading it. I don't know what happened. But you'll be joining us weekly. I asked Ian earlier today, I said, do you think Barry knows what he's getting himself into? And he even said maybe not, but we look forward to chatting with you every week throughout the course of the season. Good, bad, indifferent, we look forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I look forward to. I think that's part of the relationship that as humans we have to have, the good, bad, and the ugly sometimes, and it should make it interesting.
Barry, good luck tonight, and good luck this season.
Thank you.
Yep, Barry Trotz joining us from Tampa, presented by Gary Force Acura. And again, it'll usually be at 5 o'clock during the NHL season. It won't be that every week because, again, like this week, we got to go at 3 o'clock because the game's at 4:30. And then other times they'll be out in, Vancouver or whatever. So it'll be floating. But for the most part, 5 o'clock on Tuesdays, we'll have Barry Trotz every week. And I got to tell you, I'm excited. Not excited about Barry coming on the show every week, which I am excited about, but I'm excited about the start of the season. I'm excited about the new era, and I've got a thought on the Predators I want to get to next, and then, of course, we'll hit Predators game day, but there's a reason for my excitement, even though I'm not sure I necessarily have expectations. I'll explain what I mean. We'll do that next. First, though, I want to tell you about Twice Daily. That's right. You know I love Twice Daily, and that's why I always tell you, you got to be a loyalty member at Twice Daily. Download the Twice Daily app and join their loyalty program where you can save. That's right. Unlock special discount savings and so much more. It pays to be a member with Twice Daily, where you'll earn points every visit. Get what you crave at Twice Daily. Made to order sandwiches, bakery, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, fresh items made to go, hot drink, cold drinks, and of course stop by the beer cave to unwind with a cold one. If you're looking for convenience, Twice Daily has you covered. And as we've been telling you, if the Titans score at the end of either half on Sunday against the Ravens, on Monday, loyalty members will get a free half sub. That's right, just the next day. No catch. Just be a Twice Daily loyalty member and redeem your free half sub on the app. So go ahead and download that app, join that loyalty program, and get that free half sub. If the Titans score at the final 2 minutes of either half on Sunday, that's Twice Daily, fresh all day.
He knows Nashville sports.
And you've got Mike Vrabel in what feels like sort of a back against the wall game. They're at their best.
And he's not scared to tell it like it is.
They need to go on the road and win a game.
He is Outkick's Chad Withrow.
16 5-star players and 52 4-star players.
Withrow joins Stillman and Company every Friday at 5. Brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
They still have all of the talent.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Jewelry business, it's in my blood. I've been doing it all my life, and it's my passion.
Meet Daniel Sabalas, a third-generation jeweler at Genesis Diamonds.
This line of work, it's all about honesty and trust. It's about building relationships.
And that's what drew Daniel to Genesis, where it's all about education, transparency, and respect for each customer.
It's based on a family business mentality, and that's how we are. We're here to educate, to guide you, and we make it very easy. So we really go out of our way to educate customers in the right way. There's no stress level, there's no tension. The customer can feel that.
All this while providing the guaranteed best value price.
I've never seen a company that has the best price like this that I've seen anywhere. We are a powerhouse of diamonds.
Genesis Diamonds. No commission salespeople, no pricing games, no risk, no pressure, no cutting corners.
Genesis Diamonds is going to give you the best price, best quality, guaranteed, no matter what.
Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
The holidays are a time of celebration and Thanksgiving. It's a time to host friends and family in your home to enjoy good food and good times. The last thing you need is an unexpected issue. If you're planning a gathering this season, take a few minutes to bring out the home experts from Lee Company. For heating, plumbing, electrical, and all your home improvement needs, Lee Company has you covered. Visit LeeCompany.com today and schedule your first appointment online. Lee Company, all you need.
It's time to celebrate this fall and unleash the beast. Monster Brewing proudly presents to you Beast Unleashed. 0 caffeine, 0 sugar, all the adult beverage fun. The Beast is unleashed with great taste, bold familiar flavors, and 6% alcohol. Go wild with Mean Green, White Haze, Peach Perfect, and Scary Berries. Don't fear the Beast. Enjoy Beast Unleashed at your next tailgate or football party. Drink responsibly. Must be 21 and over.
Art, sound, and sensory overload. Tool 2024 North American Tour. January 23rd, Bridgestone Arena. With special guest, Elder. Experience the sound and vision of Tool. Tickets on sale this Friday, 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com. Cool in concert. Vanderbilt football lives here.
This Saturday, it's Vanderbilt and Georgia from First Bank Stadium. Kickoff at 11 a.m. Coverage starts at 9:30.
Your home for the Commodores is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Strong opinions and a strong personality on your drive home. This is Stillman and Company on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company, that's right. And this is our final segment, and this never happens this early. But let's knock some of these out right here as we get into that. Be sure to join me and Chris Sanders at Teddy's Tavern for the post-game show this week, the award-winning post-game show, from 11:30 to 1:30 for the Titans and the Ravens, and the award-winning pregame show, which will be a post-game show this week because of the early start time in London, is presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment and the Beast Unleashed. And make your silly underdog picks for your chance to win weekly prizes. You can play now at thegamenashville.com or the 102.5 The Game app. As we approach Week 7 of the college football season and Week 6 of the NFL, Silly Underdog Picks is presented by Volunteer Hose and Gasket. We'll get to Predators Game Day in just 1 second. I do want to say this. I have no expectations for the Predators this season in terms of, winning a playoff round or getting to the playoffs and yet I have a level of excitement that I did not have before. When they were doing the same thing over and over and over and over again and telling me that, if we can just get the best out of Johansson and Duchesne and this guy and that guy and John Hines, and I just kind of, okay, I mean, let's see. But I kind of knew in my heart, like this was what that group was. They weren't going any farther. They kind of were what they were. I don't even know if this team's going to make the playoffs this year. But I'm excited to see. I asked Barry, behind the scenes, what's this like? You got these young guys and these old guys. And, he's like, hey, we need the older guys, the guys we brought in, to get through to those younger guys. That's the reason why he fired Matt Duchesne in the offseason. And so I'm excited. I mean, I am excited for the start of this season. I'm excited for the game on Thursday night, although I'm going to be panicking over the Atlanta Braves performance because the Braves saved themselves at the end of the game last night. But I'm excited, and I'm not sure that I can tell you exactly what it is other than it's like the breath of fresh air, that it's a new era of Predators hockey. We need a new era of Predators hockey. And with that, it's time now for Predators Game Day, which is presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. TJ, he's my agent. That's right. TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. List your home with TJ to get your home seen, heard, and sold. Tonight, the Tampa Bay Lightning, last season, 46-30-6, good for 98 points. They got knocked out in 6 games of the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs against the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Predators, meanwhile, 42-32-8. That was good for 92 points. They did not make the playoffs. All time against Tampa Bay, in Tampa Bay, the Predators are 8-9-2-1. But this has been a little bit of a different era. So far last year for the Lightning, they were led by Nikita Kucherov, who had 30 goals, 83 assists, 113 points, and Braden Point had 51 goals. Goodness gracious. Ian, do we have a coach's take here?
We do. Yes, we do.
We always go to the coach's take. This is Coach Andrew Burnett for his first coach's take in Predators Game Day.
We got to stay in the box. I mean, I've been in here too many times where their power plays taking over games, and that's, we all understand the start of the season, they're going to call penalties a little different than they do at the end of the season, and we just have to be aware of that. And that, to me, playing these guys as much as I had over the last 5 years, we have to stay out of the box. That is a momentum killer for our side, and they gain so much momentum when they get on that power play.
Okay. So I think that's obvious with a team that has the elite offense. Here's the thing about the Predators, too, if they can keep it at a 5-on-5 game. The Predators don't have better players than Tampa Bay. like Tampa Bay has a cup contending roster. They've got, again, a guy that scored 50 goals last year. They get a guy who scores 40 goals around here, and it's like Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa in the home run race. But they get a guy that scores 50 goals, and they just kind of shrug it off. But with your goalie and your veteran players, you can grit out, or I guess I should say out-grit these good teams. And a good start, when Laviolette took over, they got on a good start. And that kind of, kick-started them into finishing in second place that season and, really beginning that era. And I expect big things with Andrew Burnett. That's it for us. We're out of here. The game's on ESPN. And, of course, the game for 4:30 Puck Drop is right here on 102.5 The Game. Max Hers has you up next with the Nashville Predators pregame show, Stillman and Company. We will see you all tomorrow at 2. Happy hockey season, folks.